A question for you. It reads, Dear Nose Buckets, please ask the following. Could you ask Speaking Wind about the meteor, and there are people who have talked about this, meteor or bolide, predicted to come in during the end of June or the beginning of July next year? Bobby, listening in Sacramento.
Yes. It's not just one. There's actually going to be several, but if people had been astute and listened to a lot of the newscasts, they would have seen within the last year there have been hundreds and thousands of explosions deep in space. And there are, gosh, so many of the meteors coming this way. Now, we do say that there'll be a time when the stars at night will fall onto the Earth. The meteor that's coming this way, it's virtually anybody's guess because of our tracking systems currently are so limited. What can we actually look at in the night sky deep in space? Less than 1/10 of 1% of the total sky?
That's right. Nor have we categorized, nor do we know, but about 1/10 of those Earth-crossing rocks.
Precisely. And when we look at any single event, in this case the meteor, and we tend to face it with fear, or we tend to face it with anger or rage. How can this happen to me? This hasn't happened before, type of thing. Our attitudes aren't going to change it. What are we ready for in our life? I mean, if the world were to end today, this very second, would we be ready? And when it comes right down to it, we do this kind of self-assessment, we do one of two things. Either we freak out, or we getting angry at the world and just striking out at anything and everything near and dear to our hearts, or we just understand that do the best you can, because nobody knows how many minutes of breathing time they have on this planet. I mean, it can happen at any time. I mean, our world can end within a second. Look at all of the meteors. Look at all the debris. Look at all the things that hit this Earth. All of them. Right. And when we look at ourselves in more than just, put on a coat and a tie and go to work and then come home, watch the game and so on, then life does become meaningless. And because it is so meaningless, we fear losing it. It's almost like a paradigm in a way. But as far as the meteor goes, if there's anything you can do to change something, then by all means, become proactive. If there's nothing you can do to change it, then why worry about it? Look at something that you can work on.
Here we go again. First-time caller line, you're on the air with Speaking Wind. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, where are you?
I am in Mexico, sir.
Mexico?
Yeah, I sent you an email recently. My name is a dolphin. That's what I call myself.
All right, where in Mexico are you, out of curiosity?
I am in Tijuana, Mexico.
Tijuana. I know it's very hard to call from Mexico. It's really hard.
Extremely difficult for me today because the lines are very busy, and the telephone connections are not that good down here right now. In regard to positiveness and anger, I think that we all have to be positive concerning the times we're living in right now. I myself have had some tremendous experiences concerning UFO activity. I even sent you an email recently, Art. I also sent it to Peter Davenport concerning triangle UFO objects, flybys here in Tijuana and down in the coast of Baja California, Mexico. There has been a lot of activity recently in that area, but I wanted to talk to Mr.
Speaking Wind.
Speaking Wind, yes, in concern to a theory that, well, it's not a theory. There was a contactee that was down here in Mexico. He's an anthropologist from the southern state of Guerrero. He was contacted by what he says are extraterrestrial entities that came from the planet Venus. Based on this, he mentioned something about us being controlled in another dimension in regard to hyper-evolutionizing us to a change. And I think that changes would be the same change that all of us are thinking of. We don't exactly know what it is, but we do know that somebody is hyper-evolving us in the sense that everything's evolving faster each day. And we all feel it that way. I would like to know his opinion in concern to that. And also, my last question is in regard to what he mentioned about a straying planet a long time ago that impacted or hit one of our moons, as to believe this is from a person, the same person that I told you about, Martin Guerrero. I have an interview with him. I used to be a radio host too, but unfortunately I had to leave that. In regard to that, supposedly what he said that these people told him is that one of those straying planets hit one of our two moons, because before we had two moons, and one of those moons entered the Gulf of Yucatan, creating the Gulf of Yucatan, and well, eliminating the dinosaur population. I don't know what he has to say about this.
As a matter of fact, first of all, in answer to, I believe your first question is, the people that come in from outer space have been here for a long time. I have seen them several times and talked with them. Some are very nice, and others just don't bother me. But as far as the two moons going into the Gulf of Mexico, my brother Chihuey discovered an ancient city that had been sunk under the sea. And in that, he did find writings that do confirm what you're talking about.
Okay. I have the whole book from these people. They sent this book to this person. I have the papers. I would love to send them to Art by any means, compressed in WinZip file, and maybe he can send them to you so you can recheck them. It's very interesting information about our evolution as humans.
Well, sir, we have given out an address, and we will give it out again right now, so why don't you go ahead and send it direct? I get more mail than I can deal with. You can write to Speaking Wind. Can he write at the Huntsville, Alabama address?
Yeah, of course he can.
Okay, Speaking Wind. Everybody write this down. P.O. Box 12612, Huntsville, Alabama. Zip code 35815. I'll give it one more time. Speaking Wind, P.O. Box 12612, Huntsville, Alabama. Zip code 35815. So, onward we go. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Speaking Wind. Good morning.
Good morning, Art. Good morning, Speaking Wind.
Good morning.
This is Mike from Philadelphia.
Yes, sir.
Art, I just want to say something to you real quick. Your show scares me to death.
My show scares me a lot of times, so.
Yes. And I went on night work so I can listen to you every night. Okay, Speaking Wind.
Yes.
I hate to sound like a wimp, but I'm so frightened by all this. I have a 5-year-old child. I feel bad for my kid because he hasn't had a chance to live yet.
Yes.
How do you deal with being so frightened?
Yep, you know what? I understand exactly what he's saying. I, too, have a son, and while I'm somehow not so frightened for myself, I think about my son, as this man does, and, what do you say to that and to these people who have children?
It's very valid. If you noticed, within the last 5 or 6 years, we have taken such quantum leaps in actually looking at a higher perspective than we ever have before in the recorded history that we have in this world. We look at life as something that is very precious now. Our children's lives are, I don't believe it's instinctive. I believe it's from the heart. We hold them in a higher place than we hold our own.
Of course.
It's difficult. It's very difficult. But then, when we get out of bed in the morning, we don't know if we're going to be able to come back to that same bed at night for us or our children.
That's right.
We don't know if there's going to be some idiot that pushes a button and releases a nuclear bomb, or we don't know if a meteor is going to fall and hit our car and kill us or our family or a neighbor. We don't know when we might get bit by a tick or a mosquito carrying malaria.
This is really a very good point. So in other words, while all of this may lie ahead for us as a species.
Yes.
What you're saying really boils down to take it one day at a time, brother, and live your life, whatever you've got left.
Stay in the present. Live and love with your heart. And make sure, yes, that you fully love your children for every available second of your life. And that way, you will have not missed anything.
Yeah, that's good advice.